Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Olin Master of Accounting Program Overview. Let's see. If you can't see our slides, please go ahead and let us know, because we'll go ahead and troubleshoot that on our end. So everyone should see the before we get started slide. And there's a few rules of engagement just to ensure everyone has an enjoyable experience today. The participants should be muted to reduce the background noise. So hopefully everyone can hear me. If you're having trouble or difficulty, just use the raise your hand function or go ahead and send us a message in the chat box, please. Feel free to use the Q&A function to write your questions throughout the webinar, and we'll go ahead and address those at the end of the session.
And hi, everyone. This is Laura Hollabaugh. Thanks for joining us today. I'm the Graduate Program Student Advisor for the MAC program. That means I'm the day-to-day resource for students that join us. I happen to be an undergraduate alum of the business school many years ago, but glad to be working with students now.
And I'm Amy Johnson, part of the Specialized Master's Program Admissions team. I previously worked in the Weston Career Center with Employee Relations. And before I came to Olin, I was in your shoes. I worked at KPMG with audit and recruiting. So during today's presentation, we're going to go ahead and give an overview of WashU, the Olin School of Business, the MAC program, and next steps for you during our application and admissions process. So here's some great pictures of St. Louis and campus, our gorgeous campus. For those of you who are unfamiliar with St. Louis, it is a thriving city with a lot to offer. There are more free world-class attractions in St. Louis than any place in the nation outside of Washington, D.C. Forest Park is a 1,400-acre park located right here next to campus. Our students go there to exercise and socialize. It's also a historical park, and it was the site of the 1904 World's Fair. It is still home to the St. Louis Art Museum, the St. Louis Zoo, the Missouri History Museum, the Muni Opera, and the St. Louis Science Center. Hey, Laura, what's your favorite thing to do in St. Louis?
Well, let's start with my kids. I have two kids, a son and a daughter. They're in their 20s and early 20s, and they would say the various neighborhoods and parts of town that St. Louis offers for nightlife and places to go, restaurants and bars, and just the fun things to do around town and the multiple choices that they have. My favorite thing happens to be the Missouri Botanical Gardens, a world-class garden, but also the music concert venues here. There are lots of great ways to enjoy concerts, both small venues and large venues around town. And then, of course, I have to say restaurants, because there are many wonderful restaurants, especially the ethnic restaurants around St. Louis. It's really fun to try new ones as time goes on, too.
For sure. Well, my family's favorite St. Louis fun is definitely going to a Cardinals game, although we love to catch a St. Louis Blues hockey game, too. And on a gorgeous day, we love to go to the boathouse in Forest Park and do the paddle boats or hike around Castlewood Park. But one of my favorites, and usually we go for Mother's Day, is seeing the animals at Grant's Farm, established by the Anheuser-Busch family.
Okay, I guess back to business, though. I do want to mention back to the campus. WashU really does have a beautiful campus, one of the most beautiful campuses in the region. It's in Midtown St. Louis, between downtown and the suburbs here, what we call the city and the county. So it's a great location. We have Forest Park bordering us to the east, and then the vibrant U-City Delmar Loop area just north of us. It's a really fun destination for young adults, one of the places my kids like. And we're surrounded by a variety of neighborhoods with restaurants, shopping, movies. There are lots of good apartment options around campus. It has a very neighborhood and suburban feel on most sides, and then a little bit of an urban feel on the Forest Park side. Our students happen to receive a free Metro Pass as part of student life, so that helps them get to explore St. Louis more easily too.
Definitely. So now we're moving on to Olin. Olin's mission is to create knowledge, inspire individuals, and transform businesses. Laura will go ahead and review Olin's core values for us.
All right. So we even have banners of the values hanging prominently in our building, in the atrium. You know, it starts with integrity because our Midwestern heritage is firmly rooted with us at WashU. It's the cornerstone of our character. So you can envision and expect that that translates to a culture where we're honest. Life is about being honest, hardworking, authentic and genuine, and loyal and supportive. And the supportiveness is part of what permeates our culture and how we relate to students and faculty. There's also collaboration here at WashU and at Olin in particular, because our culture fosters both individual and collective growth environment that so that our community can create innovative ideas and provide each student unique opportunities and make strong personal connections both within our programs and with other programs as well across our student population. We believe that we're all better working together. Next, we have diversity. This is really interesting. You may be hearing an alarm, a practice alarm going off in the background. Please don't worry about that. But that's kind of life in academia too, I guess. But is it a fire alarm? Maybe it's a fire alarm drill.
You got a pop-up test, so yeah, I think we should be okay. We'll keep going.
Bear with us. All right. So when it comes to diversity, that's a really important value here. Value at Olin. We embrace the diversity of individuals, their cultures, ideas, and opinions. You know, we really embrace the richness of experiences that everyone has to offer and the improved business solutions that are possible because of that. Olin's diversity provides students a really broad network and prepares them for a global career. We really value that. From a leadership standpoint, Olin cultivates the leadership mindset at every level, wherever people are in their development. So students are offered both formal and informal opportunities to make an impact in whatever path they pursue. Our size means that students, you can get involved and you can develop your leadership ability in the classroom through experiential learning and through the student organizations. And when it comes to excellence, that's an unwavering commitment that we have to that in all that we do. So we continually strive to provide the highest level of educational experience, opportunities, and research, and that permeates the student experience also.
Thank you, Laura. So now on to the whole reason you guys are tuned in today to talk about the MAC program. And Laura and I are both so excited about this program and how it's evolved over the last few years. So whether your career interests lie in public or corporate accounting or entrepreneurship, Olin's MAC program will prepare you for an exciting and rewarding future. The specialized yet flexible curriculum of 33 credit hours, half of which are electives. This permits students to tailor their coursework to meet CPA exam eligibility requirements, as well as take some non-accounting yet very complementary electives. This year, the faculty's added 2 new courses, Financial Metrics for Startups, which is accounting for entrepreneurs, and Ethical Decision-Making in Accounting, which includes actual cases that have really already occurred. There's also various experiential learning electives offered that enable students to apply what you've learned in the classroom to real business situations. And most students take advantage of opportunities offered through the Center for Experiential Learning. We call it the CEL. Those opportunities are tailored community consulting projects, financial metrics for startups, and practicums. And then in addition, there's also VITA. That's a voluntary income tax assistance program, which is a nationwide partnership with the IRS that trains students to assist low-income individuals with their tax returns. And this is such a rewarding experience for our students. It's a great community service opportunity. That's a real resume builder as well. In addition, we have Beta Alpha Psi, our BAP here at Olin, and we have such an active chapter. We're so proud of them. We'll cover more about this impressive honorary association in just a bit. The MAC program positions students for careers in accounting and provides a strong background for nearly any business future. especially when combined with a CPA designation. And we're so impressed. Last year, in 2015, WashU MAC graduates had the third highest CPA exam pass rate, 86.9% for the first-time candidates. Wow. While we don't have a CPA exam prep course per se, our students are very well prepared and often start taking the exam during their third semester so they can study in groups together. Now Laura will go ahead and review the curriculum, which is really her area of expertise as part of student affairs.
All right. Now, this is my favorite part of working with the Master of Accounting students, because translating the program, the curriculum, to a path that is tailored to the individual is really fun to be part of, really rewarding. It's a 3-semester program, can be accelerated to 2 semesters, but the 3-semester version tends to be the more popular because it permits students to seek an internship during their first year of study, and then come back in their final fall semester after an internship experience, ready to go and start applying for full-time jobs, and when they graduate in December. The 3-semester program also spreads out the 33 credits of the curriculum over a longer period of time. So there isn't quite as much academic demand, and people can find more time to get involved and develop both personally and socially, which are also important aspects of what we promote as part of the student experience. The 2-semester version allows students to take an average of 16.5 credits in each of those 2 semesters and graduate in May. So it moves fast, but it still provides them flexibility in assembling their schedule. You'll see in the slide that the required coursework is only half of the curriculum. Everybody takes 16.5 credits, and those are those fundamental courses that are really important in that accounting skill set that you'll be fine-tuning. There's a business communication course as part of the required curriculum. Then there are 9 credits out of the 33 that are accounting-oriented and CPA-friendly, but you get to pick and choose which ones you want to take, both to make sure you meet CPA exam eligibility requirements, but also to pursue the skills that you're interested in most. So everything from tax elective to as Amy said earlier, the VITA experience, where people can actually work with folks and help them prepare their tax returns. There are independent studies, there are ethics, as Amy also mentioned, a very tailored ethics course, business law, and a whole list of accounting-oriented technical courses, leasing, fraud, the CFO's perspective, all kinds of courses that are nice electives to pick and choose from. Those 9 credits can be really important to developing a confidence for the work to come in the future, but also to help position you well for the CPA exam. And then the final remaining 7.5 credits are your choice. People can dip into the MAC electives and take extras from that category of courses, but they can also take courses at Olin in other areas, whether it's finance or managerial economics, organizational behavior, more business communication, supply chain electives, customer analytics electives. But students also have the opportunity to take courses elsewhere across the university. So we have students that go to the law school, as well as computer science, and you name it, whatever it is that's of interest to you that can complement your graduate skill set. I enjoy working with students to help them tailor it and decide what length program is best for them and which courses are going to meet their short-term and long-term goals. All right. And then moving on from there, we just want to touch on the Center for Experiential Learning, because that's such an important aspect of life at Olin, to provide students applied experiences to work in the business community. And these are the kinds of courses that translate to coursework for students that can count towards that other elective category. The opportunities include Taylor Community Consulting, which are half-semester courses that basically put students on teams and work for a nonprofit organization in town that has a project or a problem they're trying to solve. The full semester practicum is another opportunity in this arena. The practicum course is full semester, and it puts teams of students together for for-profit organizations. And then as Amy mentioned, the new course, Financial Metrics for Startups, is a great way to for accounting-oriented students to work with in a more entrepreneurial setting and get some work done for a new organization. So students can apply to be on a team to work with these organizations, and the teams have a faculty advisor and can include students from different programs, MBAs, other specialized programs, maybe even an undergraduate if they're strong enough. Then there's also the Center for the Wells Fargo Advisor Center for Finance and Accounting Research. We call it CFAR. It's launched a mentorship program for MAC students just last year. And this is an opportunity for students to be paired with local professionals from different firms like Emerson or the Big Four firms, and give them an opportunity to connect with people that are in the field they hope to pursue in the future. And that's been a real successful experience in students' second semesters. All right, and then we also want to mention Beta Alpha Psi. That is a really important part of life here at Olin for the accounting students. It's available to undergraduates as well as graduate students. Beta Alpha Psi is called, we call it BAP. It was initially installed as a chapter just recently in April of 2015, but it's already achieved distinguished chapter status. It is a premier international honorary and service organization that, quoting from their brochure, it inspires and supports excellence by encouraging the study and practice of accountancy, finance, and information systems. Specifically, what BAP offers you is opportunities each semester for professional development, service, community service, and then interaction among members and financial professionals. So they offer professional development events, multiple ones every semester, essential skills events. So members get to have, in fact, for example, today there's diversity and inclusion is being offered. And let's see, community service events. It includes the VITA experience because students can volunteer for VITA experience, or they can do it for credit as a course. But there are other community service opportunities as well. So each semester students can have that kind of opportunity to have an impact. And of course there are social events. It starts with a kickoff barbecue at the beginning of the school year, and then it continues from there. I think apple picking was the most recent social event, and that was, for some students, the first time they'd ever had a chance to do something like that.
Fun. I love apple picking. Maybe we'll join in next year, Laura.
Oh yeah, it's especially, I should have mentioned that as one of my kids' favorite things to do when they were little. Anyway, it's popular in this area of the Midwest. And I also want to mention faculty, because the world-class faculty here is something that, along with our size and class size, is really a special feature of life at Olin. We not only have world-class faculty, but we have small class sizes. Just around 50 to 60 students come into the MAC program each year. So we're really fortunate to have faculty that really get to know our students, and they're very accessible and approachable. And in fact, that's what attracts these great faculty to Olin to work in the first place, for that opportunity to connect with students. Mark Sozik is the academic director for the MAC program. He was an instructor at Kellogg at Northwestern University while he was pursuing his PhD. He was also a consultant to Learning Insights, and he's been a staff accountant at EY. He teaches quite a few of the courses in the program in our curriculum, both in the fall and the spring. He's also a faculty advisor to the executive team, the student officers for Beta Alpha Psi, for BAP. Again, faculty is really accessible to students here, and everybody gets to know everybody. It's probably one of our distinguishing features of life at Olin.
Thank you, Laura. That was a lot of our highlights of our MAC program, and no one's better at that information than you are, because you're meeting with these students on a daily basis. So here's some enrollment information for our MAC class that just started here in August. There's currently 54 students, and most of them came directly from their undergraduate studies with internships in accounting or finance. About 20% of our incoming students had a little full-time work experience with an average length of 6 months. And they came from a variety of undergraduate degrees, mostly accounting. Some were economics majors, Others are finance and business administration. And we even had a few in management and some in foreign languages. So we definitely take a variety of backgrounds. 65% of the current class is female and 35% is male. And there's quite a few countries that are represented from around the world, which is one of the things we love here at Olin is our diversity. Definitely we have students from the United States in the MAC program, from China, India, Hong Kong, and Malaysia just in this new class. And their average GMAT scores were 709, and their average undergraduate GPA was 3.6. So now you can get to meet some of our alumni and students. Laura will go ahead and introduce you to them.
Yeah, you see a slide there for Justin. Justin's working in Milwaukee now and works for Deloitte. He participated in Taylor Community Consulting Project, one of the nonprofit projects, took advantage of that in his experience. He was a mentor because Beta Alpha Psi also includes a mentoring program for the new MAC students in their first semester. So they have a second-year student to help them acclimate to life at Olin and have a resource for questions. He was a mentor, an excellent mentor. And then he was also an officer with Beta Alpha Psi. Just a great guy, and an undergrad who stayed for his master's degree. The other person we want to highlight is Lucy. Lucy Liu is finishing her program, whereas Justin already graduated last May. Lucy is still here. She's in her final semester and finishes in December. Like Justin, she is a mentor in the mentoring program through Beta Alpha Psi. In fact, she is the lead person on the officer team for BAP, who put the mentoring program together for this year. So she's also a BAP officer. She interned at Express Scripts last summer, a large pharmaceutical company you probably might have heard of, and then has just received recently a full-time offer, coincidentally also with Deloitte, and will be working in St. Louis. And we'd love when alum choose to stay regional or locally in contact with us, because we'll see her hopefully on campus in the future many times.
Definitely. They're great resources for our current students to see those recent graduates walking their hallways. So where does this degree lead you to? Most of our students accept internships and full-time positions in public accounting, which provides opportunities to work on many different clients, learn in-depth knowledge of their businesses, and eventually specialize in an industry. Public accountants gain a strong understanding of many businesses and best practices across industries, which opens up options for your future career. And other graduates find jobs with Fortune 500 companies and corporate accounting, which has a similar effect in which one gains an in-depth understanding of a business and its industry, and this training is so transferable to many other organizations down the road. While still others have utilized their corporate accounting skills in fast-paced startup environments, which is also an invaluable experience. This list of companies is just a sample of where some of our recent graduates have both interned and accepted full-time employment. Frequently, students have received full-time offers from their internship experiences.
All right.
Yeah, this is actually some employment information from the class that recently graduated in May. Their median base compensation was $57,500, which does not include their signing bonuses. As you can see, the majority of the graduates went to work with public accounting firms and audit, while about 15% went into tax at public accounting firms as well. And about 13% went into corporate accounting, and then others went into finance, operations, or consulting. And students went to quite a variety of geographical locations for both their internships and their full-time positions. 89% stayed here in the United States, but went all over the country. Some went to Chicago, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Philadelphia, New York, Denver, Houston, San Antonio, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Atlanta, and even more. While 11% chose employment outside the United States and went to London, Beijing, and Shanghai. Now, Laura's going to go ahead and talk about another one of her specialty areas, student resources.
Yeah, so from a student affairs or student services standpoint, we offer academic advising and many events just to make it easy for students to have access to information and support. Our orientation includes not just information that's helpful as a new student, but also some career prep sessions and business communication workshops, because the semester starts quickly with a quick slam from the accounting firms, since the recruiting cycles start so early in the fall, and we want to help students be as prepared for that as possible. There are also student leadership opportunities. There's the student leadership role for the specialized programs called Liaison. We have ambassadors that work, students who work with prospective students, because we know for a fact that one of your best resources would be talking to somebody who's living the experience as a student. When you're checking into different schools, we want that to be an easy point of contact for you here at Olin. And then there are plenty of club leadership opportunities, both professionally oriented clubs, but also affinity clubs and cultural based clubs. We even have a wine club. So there are all kinds of different club opportunities as well for time outside the classroom that you have. The Management Communication Center is an important part of the Career Center here at Olin. There's an opportunity to work one-on-one or through small groups to gain coaching and support for you as you're honing your communications abilities, your preparation for interviews, cover letters, and emails, just any kind of business communication you want to practice or for input before you communicate and connect with employers. The Communication Center also helps people prepare for class assignments. So for example, if there's a presentation coming due in class or something coming up where a person would like another set of eyes, they're welcome to work with the Communication Center and ask for that review and support. It's just one of those things that's just ingrained and that students take advantage of, whether they're international or domestic. It's just a great resource and it's free.
Oh, definitely. I love the Management Communication Center, Laura. Another essential resource at Olin is the Weston Career Center. From day one, you can work with your career advisor on your goals and your plan. You'll go ahead and create a roadmap for success with your advisor that will include a target list of companies. You'll also get the opportunity to attend Meet the Firms, see many industry speakers, attend networking events with approachable and responsive alumni and other professionals. Students take part in the on-campus interview process for both internships and full-time employment. In addition to multiple career advisors and employee relations professionals who work with the student clubs and hiring companies on your behalf, there are online job postings throughout the year on CareerLink, which is the Career Center's online resource for Olin students. The result is students maximize their potential to secure desired employment by utilizing the many resources that Olin has to offer. Okay, so getting into more the application process and what you can expect during that. This is our tuition amounts for the current year, and all full-time specialized master's program candidates who are admitted to Olin for the fall or spring semesters are automatically considered for our merit-based Dean Scholarship. There is no separate scholarship application. These awards can cover partial tuition, and if you're awarded a scholarship, you will be notified at the time of admission. In addition, our website lists options for private scholarships and financial aid. And the next slide shows our application deadlines. The ones coming out, the next one is December 1st, and we recommend that you try to be prepared and start to familiarize yourself with the application ahead of time, just to avoid any hiccups and to submit your application on time. And admissions critters like myself are here to answer questions throughout your whole process. So feel free to contact us. At Olin, we try to make the application process as streamlined as possible. The application is comprised of a one-page resume, 2 required essays. There's also an optional essay if you'd like to add that as well. And we do ask for your academic transcripts and your GMAT or GRE score. We just request the unofficial transcripts and scores in order for us to render an admissions decision. And for our international applicants, we do require an English language skill assessment video, as well as unofficial TOEFL or IELTS scores. And there is an application fee of $100. Our application process does not require letters of admission or recommendation, so there's no need to submit those. MAC applicants are required to have taken Intro to Financial Accounting. Intermediate Financial Accounting 1 and 2 are helpful but not required. During the admissions process, we review each applicant on a number of factors. We look for individuals with strong academics, internships, and extracurricular activities. We base our selections on your past performance and communication skills. To ensure diversity in each entering class, we admit students with various backgrounds, experiences, talents, and interests. You must have completed an undergraduate degree from an accredited institution before beginning the program, and most international 3-year degrees meet this requirement. You will receive an invitation if you are selected for an admissions interview, and most of our interviews are done via Skype. However, let us know if you're nearby or if you can easily come in, because we'd love to schedule an on-campus interview for you. And speaking of meeting you, we have some upcoming events that we'd love to invite you to. And you'll get emails now that you're registered with our admissions team. We host on-campus visit days, which is a great way to gain a good understanding of Olin. And 2 are coming up here soon in November on the 14th and on the 16th. It's a day-long visit starting at 9:30 to learn more about the Olin MAC program. You attend a class in your area of interest, meet with students, Career Center staff, and admissions, and take a guided tour of campus. Please register on our website at the Fall Campus Visit Days so we can plan your visit. And we have a couple more webinars coming up that may be of interest to you. There's one on careers, which is hosted by the Weston Career Center on November 14th. And then we have a Beta Alpha Psi Spotlight on December 2nd. And our recruiters are traveling really all over the world. So they'll be at Inside the MBA events at Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh, Chicago, Minneapolis, San Diego, Denver, and Salt Lake City. And we actually have a recruiter traveling next week to Access MBA in Beijing and Shanghai. And she'd love to meet up with you. So just email us if that works in your schedule. And then we also have recruiters going to Tokyo and Seoul later in the year. But you'll get emails with upcoming registration information. So that concludes the majority of our webinar. And we're happy to take questions. If anybody has any, go ahead and type them in the Q&A.
Yeah, this might be the most important part of the webinar. We really want to tune into what you're curious to learn more about or help us clarify. For example, Amy mentioned Meet the Firms is an important event early in the fall semester. Well, that doesn't translate necessarily. That's a career fair. That's the first career fair available to students here in the building at Olin, and an important part of the student experience to start exploring full-time jobs as well as internships. So help us know what we can do to make this information more useful to you, or to explain our program so you understand how we might fit your needs or compare to other programs.
Definitely. So Laura, it looks like we have a question that's great for you. What do you think is the biggest advantage of the MAC program here at Olin?
All right, so I'm going to have to answer that with more than one example, just because I've been advising the MAC students for 8 years, and I've just seen life here over the last few years cycle, and just have noticed students latch on to different aspects. The main advantages of the program are, first, the world-class faculty. I mean, the experience truly is transformational. To gain a very solid and competitive and marketable skill set that not only helps a person launch their career, but provides them critical thinking skills to be successful with short-term and long-term goals. It's just a great way to launch your career. But another advantage, I would say, are your classmates here. We have such high caliber people in the classrooms with all the students bond with each other, have an opportunity to meet people from all over the world, motivated and capable and just so bright and intellectually curious. And so the connections that people make, everything from friendships and lifelong connections are just your network when you graduate, I'd have to say is another huge advantage. And then just lastly, just the support. There's so much pride in being part of Olin, and there's so much richness in life as a student, but it carries forward. And I can tell you, for example, in my career, which was not in academia until this most recent job, I was in corporate work. My degree paid dividends my entire career. So I'm sorry for the long answer, but I wanted to be thorough. Another question, how would you describe the culture at Olin? I'm going to jump in on that one, but I think Amy will have something else to share, just because everybody can contribute to this question for sure. I think that we have, as we said earlier, the Midwestern culture, which is friendly, welcoming, and supportive, but then we have academic excellence in the classroom. So it's a really good combination, because then we have a city that is not high stress and not a whole lot of traffic and not a whole lot of fast pace, and yet we have academic excellence. So the culture both at Olin and in St. Louis at large, as well as the academic excellence, are just a great combination to help students feel safe and to help them grow.
Definitely. And I went to a larger undergraduate business school. And when I worked in public accounting, I primarily worked on a much larger campus. So when I first came here to Olin, the thing that really took me back was how collaborative the environment is. That our faculty and students and staff really know each other on a first name basis and really get to know unique traits about our students and how close the alumni stay in connection. I'm always amazed at how responsive our alumni are with our current students and our staff and faculty, and how those relationships continue long after you leave these walls in the classrooms. So I see some admissions questions that I'll go ahead and take a stab at. Someone asked, would you recommend submitting application earlier rather than later? Which kind of goes along with the next question of maybe planning to still take our prereqs in spring semester, but can you still go ahead and apply? And I definitely recommend getting in your application sooner the better. So you'll be assigned to admissions recruiter like myself. So you can work through, when you're taking some of those prereqs and classes, that will just boost your application even more. And we do hold spots for candidates each round. So there's no worries that we'll be out of spots or something by the fourth round. However, I just think the earlier you can start the process and start being in touch with your recruiter and gathering information, and that we get to know you, I just think it goes for a much smoother transition and process here to Olin. So that would definitely be my recommendation, to apply on the earlier end if possible.
Let's see. So there's a question about the application process. Is Intro to Financial Accounting the only prereq course for the application? Well, officially it is, but I would tell you that we strongly encourage you to help your application be as competitive as possible. To have had intermediate accounting 2 semesters is only going to help your competitiveness with the application, and will also help your ability in the classroom when you get here. International students who have studied elsewhere in the U.S., there's a question also about whether the TOEFL could be waived for them, and the answer is no, unless they've been at the institution for
3 years.
For 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've had 3 full years at an American university, then it can be waived. There is an English assessment for all international students when they arrive. So if it's felt that there's a need or some benefit to be gained by some additional English practice in writing or speaking, we'll work with that as well. But it could be waived. The TOEFL could be waived as part of the application if you've been in a U.S. university for 3 years or more.
Definitely. And we have a question here about housing. A lot of our students want to know where they live when they come to campus, which is a great question. So there is no graduate housing on campus, but most of our graduate students live in one of the wonderful neighborhoods nearby. It's very student friendly. The U City Loop, I think Laura had mentioned before, is a great area for students to live in. There's a lot of restaurants and experiences. It's a great student community. Some students also live in the Central West End and other maybe slightly more suburban type areas around campus. And we definitely recommend that you consult with the apartment referral service here on campus, which is a great resource. And we definitely put students in touch with each other. Incoming students get to know each other through our Facebook page. It's a great way to connect with housing options with current students and finding roommates. So definitely a good topic.
All right. So one more question from y'all is this. When you review our essays, which do you want to see more? How we're going to use resources to realize our goals, or how outstanding our past experiences? I'm going to let Amy answer that since she's reviewing resumes and applications all the time.
So when I read essays, like, we're just really trying to get to know you. The main essay on our application is how you would introduce yourself to your future classmates here at Olin. So what makes you unique? What makes you whom you are, and what kind of standards do you hold yourself to? What kind of experiences have you had? So, we're not necessarily looking for you to check certain boxes on that essay. We just want you to describe yourself like you would to one of your peers when you came here to Olin. So you're certainly welcome to talk about your internship experiences or your extracurricular experiences, or your family, or what it is you enjoy doing in your free time. It's definitely an open canvas as far as that is concerned. And the other question we ask is just your career goals. We're just really ensuring you're in line with the specialized master's program that you're applying to, and that you're really serious about your career, because obviously that's why everyone comes to get a graduate degree, is to get that job that is just right for them, and we certainly want you to be successful while you're here. And then the optional essay is really for if there's any other topics. So if you're concerned about something in your application, that would be a great opportunity for you to kind of give us that explanation.
Yeah, I would just throw in there that longer essays are not necessarily better essays. They don't have to be really long, and you'll see that in the instructions. But also, with your career goals, I want to just speak to that. The program is rigorous. It's hard. People work hard here. And we just want to make sure, too, that this is where you really see yourself, and that it's really aligned with what you enjoy doing as well as what your goals line up to do. So just want to make sure it's a good fit for you, and to make sure you have the information to make a good decision about what university, what program is best for you as well.
Definitely. So I think those are all our questions, unless anybody else has any more. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we covered that one. I think, as far as prereqs, I would go ahead and submit your application, and just be in touch with your recruiter, because as long as you've finished all of your prereqs by the time you start campus, that's certainly something we can work with.
And we also welcome more questions. We see that as showing interest and not a burden at all. So Amy, what should someone do if they have more questions after today?
Definitely. So we have our general email on the screen that you guys can see right now. It's olingradadmissions@wosel.edu, and that comes directly to us recruiters. And then we'll be in contact with you, and we're usually in contact within a couple of days. And we're certainly happy to take phone calls, do kind of information sessions over the phone or Skype to help you throughout that application process. So certainly we'll be in touch with you going forward, and you'll be receiving our emails with our upcoming events and application deadlines and webinars, and when our recruiters will be where. So I would definitely suggest, if you live in one of the cities that we will be in soon, to go ahead and contact us through that Olin Grad Admissions site, our email, and we will go ahead and set up an appointment for you to meet directly with a recruiter face-to-face, and certainly would love to have you come to campus if you're nearby, but that is not a requirement. Students often do ask our applicants if your chances are increased of admission, if you can come to campus. And while we would certainly love to meet you face-to-face, that is not something that's taken into consideration when we make admissions decisions. So don't feel like if you can't get to campus that that's going to affect your application process at all.
No, the majority of applicants don't visit campus, although you're always welcome. And I just want to say one more time, thank you for your interest. I think we want to thank you sincerely for your interest in Olin's program. We know it's a special place, and we appreciate that you're thinking maybe that's true too. I guess sometimes I get asked, what can I do between now and when I would start a graduate degree? And I would just say, make sure you feel fully informed about the decision that you're going to make. Don't be shy about asking questions to really know what the programs offer you. And if you have a chance to take more accounting, intermediate in particular, I strongly encourage you to do that. You can't have enough intermediate accounting to prepare for this program.
Definitely. That's great advice. And Laura, thank you so much for joining the admissions team today. It's been very valuable to have your insight and experience.
You're welcome. Good doing this with you.
Okay. And we'll be in touch with all of you guys coming up soon. So we hope to hear from you. Have a great day.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.